Hey guys, welcome back to Nerd Doctors. Today, Griff and I are reviewing yet another Dracula movie, kind of. The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which, it's one chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula novel.
Yeah, they stretched one chapter based purely off of Captain's logs into a 2 hour movie, which is not necessarily a bad thing if the movie was filled with character development. It just seemed like it just took a bit for the plot to set up. I for horror movies, especially now, we just in general for movies seem to be getting longer and longer, which is not a bad thing as long as the time is used wisely. But for horror movies, time and time again, it proves that a good horror movie, an hour and a half. Just stick with that just because people are going into these movies expecting to be thrilled and scared. They don't want to sit for the first 30 to 45 minutes not doing so. So I really think you need to start off fast. And this one wasn't. I honestly thought this was a prequel to the pre-existing Bram Stoker's Dracula movie because it's all about how Dracula got to England. It it does not seem that way. They did set up a sequel, which is going to be the main part of the Dracula book. Because we already knew the ending and everything that was going to happen, it did take a little bit of the thrill out of it. And especially with the opening scenes, even if you don't know the book, they are going to tell you the ending. It's just, I think they should have been more creative with this movie. It's not that it was horrendously bad, but it wasn't good or either. It was just like a bit less than okay. I think they should have taken some more creative liberties to make this story more enjoyable and fresh. Seeing Dracula as a monster was pretty cool, but I think especially now knowing that they are setting up the main story, I don't think I would have chosen that just because of how poorly that blends in with London. I think what would have been a really cool idea is the more that Dracula drinks human blood, the more and more human or humanoid he becomes, especially since he lives off of livestock. I think that could have been something that would have been really cool to see, especially since they kind of hinted at it during the movie, but we never saw him take the quote unquote human form. And I don't think he ever will. The acting in this movie was pretty good. There are several actors in here that I do like. I just don't think the story was really what it needed to be.
Yeah, to be honest, I had seen the trailer because was like, "Hey, are we doing this movie?" And I was like, "What? What movie are you talking about?" And I saw the trailer and I was like, "It doesn't look horrible." It's better than some of the shit that we saw horror wise last year. It's not a great movie, to be honest with you.
I think if you like Dracula, you're probably going to like this movie, like more just like the concept of Dracula rather than the book.
Maybe. I mean, it depends. Like I've read Bram Stoker's novel six, seven times, maybe throughout my life. I've seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, the one directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I just told Griff I think that's one of the best Dracula movies out there, if not the best. It's definitely one of the greatest horror movies out there. So anything Dracula after that, when I hear Dracula, when I hear tales of Dracula or anything like that, I'm like, damn, it's gonna be hard. And yeah, it's they all fall short. The best thing, and this is not, you know, a plug for it. The best thing that I could tell you guys after Bram Stoker's Dracula is Castlevania. I mean, that's
I was saying that during the movie is like I could be watching Castlevania right now.
exactly. That's pretty solid, man. I mean, the Netflix show, go watch it. The next one's about to pop off. But this movie, it's like Griff said. I mean, damn it, 2 hours. They could have shaved off 30 solid minutes from this movie, and I would have been okay with it. If any of you have read the book, this is literally one chapter, and they stretched it out to be a 2 hour movie. So that was one of my problems with it. I was like, Jesus, how long can this be? Of course, they're setting it up for another movie. With Dracula, there's always going to be a new iteration. Most of them have honestly been hit and miss. We'll see. This one, it was better than a lot of the crap we've seen. horror wise, but it wasn't great. I don't think I'll be watching this again on home video, if I'm honest with you. But you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, if you like Dracula and you like gory movies, not necessarily gory, but violent movies, I think you're going to like it. I do think they could have knocked up the horror aspect just a bit more. I think it was it was very predictable and telegraphed. And it's not that that's a bad thing. Like the kills were still pretty vicious. It's just, especially with it being branded as a horror movie, I don't think it really nailed that aspect. It was more of kind of like a thriller, like kind of similar lines to the first Alien movie, sort of like the same sort of tension wise. They could have developed the characters a bit more. They only kind of developed two or three of them, and they they could have put more time into a couple of the other characters to really give us something new, because it is kind of just the same old with this movie, and especially with Dracula being told literally 30 plus times. There's only so many times you can tell the same story over and over and again and still have people go to watch it. So I do think something needs to change in the next one. I think it could be good, but I think they really do need to change something up. Although this happens a lot with horror movies. They focus a lot on how to get this kill just right, how to introduce the villain, how to end it, kind of how to end it, but they never get the story right. And I think that's where horror movies really lack for me, is the story, because they never really land the ending. And especially for this one where you land the ending, they had leeway, but they didn't use it. And I think for the next one they really need to get a good story writer for this.
I don't know if the next one is going to be any good. There's history has shown us that probably not. I mean, sorry to keep bringing up Bram Stoker's Dracula. But that movie did it probably the best that you can do it. It follows the book. It adds to the book. One of the things Griff touched upon is, how slow certain movies start. This one, you're like 30 minutes in, you're like, all right, get on the boat. We know what's going to happen, but like, chop chop, let's hop to it. Bram Stoker's Dracula, that movie fucking starts off raw. A minute and a half in, you already know what you're in for the rest of the movie. And it never skips a beat. This one, and most horror movies, as Griff said, the way they set things up and put you in your new world, by the time you get there, you're like, how much more of this movie do I have left? That's how I felt. And I dig vampire movies. I dig werewolf movies. I'm a sucker for Dracula movies if done right. Very few of them are done right. I don't know what the next one is going to be like. This one's a 4 for me. It wasn't like I wanted to leave the theater, but I don't think I'll be watching it again unless I don't know. No, I don't think I will. I
Yeah.
think this one's just okay. I mean, I will say this. I said at the beginning, it's a lot better than fucking Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends or whatever the hell that was called. But that doesn't necessarily make it a great one.
Let us know what your favorite vampire movie is and what your favorite Dracula iteration is, because as we said, there's been a lot of them, so I'm sure we can get a very diverse liking in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about the last voyage of the Demeter. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care, guys. See you next week for Blue Beetle.